Today is November the 4th.
That's true.
This is our Raw review. Tree of Woe show. Let's get to it, man, because we got a lot of stuff to talk about that we're not too fond of.
That's true. that's not a false statement.
But the first thing we liked, more or less. Don't we talk about it? You want to talk about it?
CM Punk versus Luke Harper. Why? Because CM Punk got the shit kicked out of him last week. Why Luke Harper?
Because he's the better one and Brody Lee sucks.
There you go.
Oh, gosh, he's the worst.
So basically what happens in this match is CM Punk wins via roll-up because Luke Harper's more flexible than most people that big. I'd have said, ow, ow, ow. I wouldn't have got that far. I'd have been injured. Yeah. He gets attacked by both after the match. They're saying, and CM Punk's like, God, so ow, bad.
Ow,
so then all of a sudden, Daniel Bryan runs out. We're all looking like Damien Sandow ass. Like,
yeah, it's ponytailed on.
He comes out and makes a save. He called the pink trunks because
Macho Man. They're going to be the next Superpowers Part 2, and I'm fine with this. I'm cool with this. They lead on. We'll talk about the two segments they happen afterwards where they talk to both of them back there.
Yep.
And they both have a mutual enemy, which is the great way of forming a tag team.
Yep.
And they're going to realize they work better as a tag team, and we'll see a nice reign. Maybe it ends at WrestleMania this year or WrestleMania next year.
It's a long time.
Yeah. Is this next one 29 or 30?
This is 30.
Then it has to end this one.
Has to end this one.
Has to. But
how'd you forget what WrestleMania we're on?
I don't know, because I'm not thinking as much right now.
Bringing Hulk Hogan back for WrestleMania 29, brothers.
I thought people were talking about bringing it back in a year and a half.
Oh my god, that's a good time.
Yeah.
But yeah, they make the save, and it's pretty much what we thought was going to happen, which is not a bad thing.
Yeah, well, sometimes that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes when it's going to happen,
usually when you think it's going to happen, it's because it makes sense, and there it was. Michael Cole on the phone with Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman just talking about his injuries. He was crying. Michael says, "Are you crying?" And then he hangs up.
And that's the end of him. Awesome, fantastic. We'll see him later with Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, and then we get Ryback versus Great Khali. And why? Because they showed us, and backstage, Ryback put a cupcake on Hornswoggle's head, and then Santino stood up to him, and he's like, pick out someone your own size. And then he said, oh, you know I don't eat carbs after 6 p.m. I was talking about him. And there we have a match. Ryback versus the Great Khali. The Ryback picks up a win here.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, and I totally forgot about this match because it sucked.
Well,
it happens. Poor Ryback.
When you're giving the Great Khali, you're kind of screwed from the beginning. Ask Batista.
Ask anyone who had a Ryback as an opponent. You're giving the Ryback, you're kind of screwed from the beginning.
No. Not all the time.
Majority, unless it's like a next top level guy.
Yeah, not all the time. Yeah. Great Khali is all the time. So you put these two together, it's bad news.
Bad news bears.
Then we got Hood Kofi. The return of Hood Kofi. I thought he was a one-off thing. Apparently it wasn't a one-off thing. So Hood Kofi.
His do-rag skills on his
pants. Said skills with a Z on his pants, and he was back fighting not Hood Del Rio. And Hood Kofi is 0-2 as he picks up another L here. Yeah. Del Rio makes him tap. Sorry, Hood Kofi. I like you better than normal Kofi, but you still just can't get the W's.
Not the W's.
No W's for Kofi.
Let's host the W's this year.
Okay. Jay.
No, we'll host our own version of the W's.
We'll call it the W's. Can't be called not the W's.
Yeah, it's always the W's.
Has to be called the W's.
After that, we had Randy Orton versus Big E Langston.
Why? Because we voted for it. Not us, but people.
You voted 75% for it. And you know what? Those people were right.
That's
you know this shows them? They got a marketable big-ass Black Star and Big E Langston.
Big E Langston. 3 ain't enough, man. I need 5.
Oh, man. Once that gimmick comes up, it's over.
Yeah, it's true.
5 at people. But regardless, Randy Orton showing why he can have a match with anyone and everyone. I'm going to talk about Randy Orton here, so that way you and me have to talk about him. You can sit there or not.
That's true. Because if I talk good about Randy Orton, everyone just says, oh, he's just because he likes Randy Orton. Which is true.
I am the most honest person on YouTube. True or false?
False. You heard of Jeff Schlegel?
You're right.
So calls everybody out. That's why we love him.
All right, that's why.
You lost your chance to be the most honest person on YouTube when you refused to call out Mr. Route by name.
That's true. Oh well.
So it's Schlegel.
Sunglasses on. I'm number 2. You're number 2. I'm number 3.
Okay, with sunglasses on, you move up to number 3. Because number 1 is Ty. He's 22, man.
His top 5 porn stars.
One of the greatest videos. Anyway, you got this.
Anyway,
go for it.
Guys, what Randy Orton does on a weekly basis is something that you guys have all pandered for. It's something that the world needs. And something that generates interest in wrestling. You guys are mad he's the top guy. Because there's no one else on his level. Besides Punk, they put Punk and Bryan away. If Punk and Bryan and Cena were all going for Randy Orton's title, those 4 at the top.
Yeah, that's the 4.
And that'd be going nuts. Nuts. You heard me.
Nuts.
But because it's not, Randy Orton's the one savior we have in the title picture.
Yeah.
Yet here we are. Cheering for the Big Show? Not us.
Fuck.
We'll hear about that more in a little bit.
Yeah,
but shout out to Biggie Langston, shout out to Randy Orton for an entertaining match. Get you through the 1-hour main event. And after that, like Fallout Boy said, it's all downhill from here.
Literally, guys.
Oh.
Literally. Then we got Fandango and Summer Rae versus actually not a bad returning Tyson Kidd and Natalya.
Yeah, it's a step down, but it's still down the hill.
Yeah, exactly. It's still
Tyson
down the hill.
Kidd's back.
It doesn't mean it's bad.
I wish I would. All right, so don't talk so great about Randy Orton. You can talk great about Tyson Kidd. If you feel like Tyson Kidd
he was really tan. He's married to Natalya, so that's tight. We were looking for a run-in.
Yep.
We didn't get a run-in.
We didn't get a run-in from Jared.
We didn't get a. We were looking for Jared to come in and try to take his woman back, try to hype up season 1A, 1B. We didn't get it.
I hate people say 1A.
Yeah,
1 and 1A. No, it's 1A and 1B.
Yeah, it's 1A and 1B.
It's not 1 and 1A.
But Tyson Kidd, you could tell that he has been out for a long ass time, and he was saying, "Listen, I'm about to come out and do all I can in this 8-minute match, mixed gender tag match, to show that hey, and they have an opportunity with this guy. If they could turn this dude into something, he can go. Yeah. There's not a lot different between him and the other dudes that we all think are God's gift to wrestling.
People care about him now too. So.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is your thing to talk about him.
Yeah, so it's no, I don't.
Okay. Well, people care about Tyson Kidd now, which is a great thing because before, if you saw Tyson Kidd coming out and you didn't look, you didn't watch, you weren't going to become a fan. Mm-hmm. But if you watched, you became a fan. But people didn't have a reason to watch. Now they have a reason to watch, and they're going to believe. Believe that.
I like to make my not that song. Oh, yeah, Tyson Kidd actually comes back, gets the win. And then we found out why, because in the Total Divas package, we saw Fandango and Natalya wrestling. And
I'm not ready for that.
And Tyson said, "He knows we're married, right?
Marriage isn't for you.
Marriage isn't for you." They probably don't know about that. I think that's a Utah thing.
If you guys have seen the Marriage is for You shared story on your Facebooks.
I'm pretty sure it's a Utah thing, though. I know it's a Utah thing. Keep talking.
But if
I'll let you start talking. Talk about the Sandow and Real Americans thing. Well, basically, Sandow and the Real Americans were backstage before their match. Then we get to the 6-man tag. I'll let you talk about that while I'm trying to solve problems.
That 6-man tag was solid. Was a little bit of concern though. Holy crap! I cannot believe how ridiculously over the Rhodes brothers are. I don't know how much of it's because the Cena is a scary thing. That's what scares me. Is because, think about this for a second. These guys have had all these great moments, fantastic moments, magic moments. But what happens when it's not all fantastic? What happens when it's not all sunshine and flowers? Yep. What happens? What happens when the Rhodes? What happens when they lose? What happens when they keep winning and we get tired of it?
Exactly.
How are they going to?
It's the same story with everyone that starts getting on a push, pretty much.
Yeah. Well, how come they can't maintain a push for anybody?
It's true.
Probably because here we are. We're the first fear is either going to get stale, and the second fear is that they're going to pull the rug from them.
Exactly.
We don't think that they're a better tag team. We're like, oh man, here we go. Mm-hmm. Here we go. At some point, it's going to suck.
Yeah, that's what sucks. That's not our fault.
Yeah.
That's WWE's fault for making us have that mindset.
There's only so many times you can take the sucker from the kid before he realizes he's not going to get it. No matter how hard he reaches, how hard he cries, how hard he yells, how much he screams, he's not going to get it.
Not going to matter.
Yeah. Especially when it's not indicative of what the kid does at all. It's the person holding the sucker controls it all.
Exactly.
Man. Now just, oh man. I got the Bane mask.
But Goldust won. Goldust got that pin. Shout out to Goldust getting the pin. Then we got Triple H, Vicky, and Stephanie McMahon talking about Big Show because we saw him walking around backstage, unfortunately. And all of a sudden, Vicky comes in and says, Big Show's here. Triple H's like, why'd you let Big Show in the building?
Big Show.
Like, I didn't. It was Stephanie did.
Wait,
and then
you're being Big Show.
He made a I can't be. Oh, I'm not being anybody Big Show. Huh? But no, explain them like you were explaining to me. Why? That's why I wrote the goddamn board. Why the whole thing they're trying to sell about the board of directors makes absolutely no goddamn sense.
It insults anyone who knows anything about A, how WWE is owned, and B, anything about a board of directors. A board of directors does not make decisions that are on a day-to-day basis. The board of directors makes major shareholder decisions, and they appoint the CEO, COO, all that stuff. They don't sit there and they look at major legal matters. None of that. This is not what the board of directors does. They don't have this type of power to call and say, Hunter, the Big Show's really mad. And the board of directors isn't even all that invested into the product. That's how the board of directors works. You have the guys that are, and you have the outside sources that are able to step in and tell you from outside view what's going on inside your company. They usually have two that aren't inside.
So basically, they're telling some goddamn lies.
Goddamn lies.
Motherfuckers, man. Come on.
Come on. Alrighty.
It always comes back.
The next thing we had was Dolph Ziggler against Curtis Axel. A bunch of fucking faggots. Fucking Dolph Ziggler used to be the internet's darling. Dolph Ziggler.
Fucking Curtis Axel.
Fucking Curtis McGillicuddy, because I'm WJ and I talk like this. Let me hold up a piece of paper because my memory is so bad I can't even know. He's going to come back at us. It's not going to be a good thing if we keep this up.
What do you get when you take Paul Heyman away from a Paul Heyman guy? A fucking faggy cocksucker, man. Come on.
Come on.
I don't know why it always comes back to come on. Because that was my favorite
Liable.
thing. It's because that was my favorite thing WJ ever did. When he was talking shit to somebody, he'd be like when he was, I don't know, whoever he was talking about, fucking insert YouTube name now. You cocksucker.
Come on.
It was always that. And that was my favorite thing.
That match wasn't for anything, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, Dolph Ziggler won, though, so he'll probably get an IC title match and probably win, because like I said, the Paul Heyman guy doesn't have Paul Heyman anymore, making him even duller than before. Oof.
3MB lost to the Usos because that's what makes sense and that's the best for business.
I got Cookie Crisp during this match, so I give this match 4 out of 5 stars.
And then they had a backstage segment with Los Matadores, which sucked because they suck.
Oh, I didn't write these down, but now would be a good time, since we're not going to talk about them again, to talk about what you were going to say, the CM Punk Daniel Bryan backstage segment. So I didn't write those down.
Oh, no, I talked about that at the start.
Well, no, but you said we'll talk about it later.
Ah, no, I said we're going to talk about the main event later. We talked about it at the start. I mean, they're going to be a tag team altogether.
Oh, yeah.
Mega Powers 2.0.
I just didn't write down the two seprate, when it was Punk backstage.
Oh, yeah. It was Punk and Bryan backstage, but...
It's separate times, yeah.
And they cut all backstage. Promos should be backstage. Promos aren't to be in the middle of the freaking ring unless you're talking to the crowd.
Makes sense.
Why the hell are you talking to someone else in the middle of a freaking wrestling ring? It doesn't make sense, and that's why the product has sucked. Think about the great promos in history. How many times was the Macho Man in the middle of a freaking ring talking about being in the danger zone, the cream of the crop, any of that? Hogan before WrestleMania 2 when he said, say your prayers, eat your vitamins. I don't know what the third thing was.
Probably something uplifting.
Yeah, that wasn't in the middle of the ring. That was backstage with the guy. And because they did so much shit backstage, they ruined that. The Rock had to get people out. I'm not going to blame The Rock, but I'm blaming people who think that they're The Rock.
Yeah.
The Rock can go out in the middle of the ring and he can entertain the masses. And he can get everyone behind him, and then once they're behind him, he tells the story.
Right.
You don't go out there like they do in this main event. We're not in the main event yet.
We're not quite there, but we'll get there.
I'm going to pause for 3 seconds as you talk about the Bella sluts. You got to do it in honor of Marvelous Mark. Wait, Marvelous Mark Bane?
Let me tell you something about the Bella sluts.
Bella sluts.
Eva Marie, biggest slut.
Oh, man. Actually, that'd be Oksana. Where's Oksana?
AJ, slut. Tamina, she'd be a slut, but she can't get me. Slut. Oksana, obvious slut.
Oh, that's how she's on TV.
The Bella sluts.
I'll say I'm sorry about taking my glasses off.
Yes. The Bella sluts got the win, but they did not get the pin. Eva Marie did. Because she's hot, and she's the up-and-comer. Marvelous Mark Bane is one of the great contradictions of all time. Because when I have the Bane mask on, I just want to yell.
Marvelous Mark was a very calm, very sensible, very intelligent person.
Ooh, that was kind of hard. I don't like that one as much. Anyways, let's get to that main event.
Do you want me to talk crap on the promos in the middle of the ring, or talk crap on this promo in the middle of the ring?
This one.
This one sucked. Do you want to know why? Because Triple H is better in moderation. When he's every week 4 segments a night telling you how great he is, you believe it. And then the face doesn't get detraction. It killed Daniel Bryan, and it's going to kill the Big Show.
Hope so.
But the Big Show's even worse. Holy crap. Why are they doing this? Why are they spending the end of a wrestling show talking in a formal handicap? The Big Show. Out there. So I got this. Yeah, this fall asleep I get it during the show.
Oof.
Yeah. Wow. Why? Why do you tarnish a wrestling ring with this steaming pile of crap for a finish? I don't get it. I never will. And we used to be optimistic on this channel. We used to always try to find the good thing.
Not with the Big Show.
Not with the Big Show. Do you want to know why? Because we're number 2 and number 3 most honest people on YouTube. Regardless. Hear me out on this one.
Okay.
Why?
I don't know what I was looking for.
Why on God's green earth?
The greenest.
Do they talk about Triple H doing the stuff that's best for business and talk about putting new talent over and the next guard coming through, and then you get a 42-year-old Big Show doing the same exact storyline that didn't work for Daniel Bryan because they hot shot it to the Big Show?
Mm-hmm.
Why is he doing Yes Chance?
I have no idea. That was just stupid.
Why is it a conspiracy? Why is he going for the board of directors? Why are we mixing every shit storyline that's happened in the past 3 years?
It really is all into big one thing. We have a lawsuit. We have Fight the Authority. We have, got fired and got brought back. We have, overcoming the odds storyline. We got like 5 storylines all mixed into one piece of shit.
We had him pull in with a freaking semi-truck.
Oh, exactly. Like he's fucking Austin or something.
Why do I care about Big Show as a character if he's a mix of all of these characters that happened before in a 7-foot-tall version, which is not as good?
At all.
When you go to the supermarket and you're walking through the fruit aisle and you're looking at the apples, what apple do you go to first?
Not the Big Show apple.
No, you don't go. The biggest apples are the worst ones.
Mm-hmm.
The smallest apples, you don't get enough. You find the medium-sized apple, and you find the one that best appeals to your palate. Mm-hmm. Some people like Red Delicious. Some people like Golden Delicious. Some people like Granny Smith. I'm a Gala guy. I love Gala. So that's a great mix because it's a mixture between it all.
Okay.
It appeals to both sides. But here they are. They have all of these different sorts of apples, and they go to the one that has never sold any money. And they find the one that's ridiculously expensive with how much they're paying him.
Mm-hmm.
And they say, you know what? We have to justify the fact that we're selling this for the highest price. We'll put the marketing towards it.
Mm.
Fans want Gala apples. Fans want Granny Smith. Fans want Red Delicious.
This is like when an NFL player gets a super big contract, and you know the dude behind him can outplay. This is like
Albert Ainsworth.
This is like this is what would have happened if Pete Carroll wasn't smart enough to see that even though Matt Flynn was making so much money, that Russell Wilson was the better option. That's what this is. This is them going with Matt Flynn and saying, "No, Russell Wilson, you know you're better than Matt Flynn, but we have to justify paying you a lot of money."
Would be a playoff team if they would have put Case Keenum from day one. He's better than Matt Schaub.
Mm-hmm. Case Keenum is alive.
But how often do we see these quarterbacks and all these people get all? How many times do we see the same people get the same opportunities?
Mm-hmm.
We can look at basketball even. How often do we see teams thinking they're going to win with a 38-year-old Kevin Garnett when they could? Why? What makes him better than 24-year-old Paul George who's getting better? Which one would you rather have on your team?
Paul George?
Yeah.
Everybody. I have Paul George more than anybody.
Exactly.
Almost anybody. But, yeah.
I'm glad Indiana didn't sell out and put all of their faith in David West and say, we have David West. We don't need to develop Paul George.
Yeah, exactly.
We have Danny Granger. We don't need to take Paul George. He's the best available player at this point of the draft. No idea why he's still around at 12.
Yeah.
Oh wow! Hey, we already have Darren Collis. Why would we need to get George Hill as our team better?
Yeah, exactly. That's the exact thing. This is them just saying, you know what? This isn't the best option, but it's the most. This is how we can try to save our decision here.
I'm going to say something right here, and it's going to get you going. And I don't want you to stop. WWE needs to be less like the Yankees and more like the Cardinals.
They need to be exactly more like the Cardinals. You know why? Because the Cardinals develop a farm system, so that way when they come up, they don't have to spend so much money on free agent acquisitions that have never played with each other and it's hard to develop. And they just have, because the Cardinals, they have all these homegrown dudes, Yadier Molina, Alan Craig, John Jay, all these dudes. And then when you sprinkle in a little Carlos Beltran, Matt Holliday, oh my God, look at that. We didn't have to spend a whole lot of money. They said, you know what, Albert Pujols? Sure. You're going to go down as one of the greatest hitters of all time.
Big Show. You're going to be one of the best big men of all time.
We're not going to give you this much money. You know why? Because if we give you all this money, this is a bit. But guess what they did? They gave some to Beltran. They gave some to Holiday. They've got to re-sign Wainwright. They got, let's see. Who was their compensatory, or whatever the word is, draft pick they got for Pujols? Oh, it was Michael Wacha. How's that work out?
Waka.
How did that work out this year? Pretty well, right? So they had money to go everywhere. They spread out. The Yankees are kind of like Kentucky basketball. I mean, Big Show's kind of like, that's what they're trying to do. Sometimes it works. The year, they won the whole thing. Then you get the year like last year, and it's like they just try to reload. It's like, oh well, here.
I think they're more like the Yankees and Kentucky basketball.
Well, Yankees and Kentucky basketball are the same thing.
Yeah.
Oh, this year didn't work out. Okay, we're gonna get rid of all these people. Oh, we have money for days. Mark Teixeira, A-Rod.
But they never get rid of the problem. They never look at it and say, wow, maybe we're the problem. Maybe the fact that we don't like doing things. Maybe the fact that we trade away our young stars.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe the fact we trade away Jesus Montero for a rental on. Oh wait, no, they traded away for Michael Pineda.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Who played the league for like 1 year and then hasn't played well. They continue to pay A-Rod. They're going to pay Cano $1 million. They're going to continue to put Derek Jeter on the field, even though he can't do a single thing defensively. Mm-hmm. And they're gonna want A-Rod at third and wonder why they give up so many runs.
Exactly.
Wonder why they're not winning games. Wonder why there's teams that are better when they can go out and do whatever they want.
Exactly.
Why on earth is PWG consistently better than WWE?
I don't watch it, so I don't know.
You watched part of it.
I watched one match. Yeah. Two matches. Yeah,
and those were really solid matches. Do you want to know why? Because they can't rely. They're like they don't have unlimited offense. They're like the Cardinals.
Exactly.
They say, you know what? We're gonna take homegrown guys.
Yeah.
We're gonna take the guys who have buzz that can help us bring in get as much as we can for the dollar. They don't go out there and bring in the guys. They don't bring in Matt Hardy because Matt Hardy's they pay a whole lot for basically have no one else show up new there.
Mm-hmm.
They go out and they pay Kevin Steen to show up. He's been there for years. They go and they bring in Johnny Gargano because he's one of the hottest names in the indie market right now. They bring in ACH. They bring in all these guys. They don't sit there and rest on their laurels and put the same people at the top all the time because they can't. But WWE will continue to fall back on their 7 feet tall monsters and Kane and the Big Show because they know those guys will hit 270, hit 30 home runs, get 100 RBIs. Won't win a whole lot, won't win enough games to mean anything, but they're not going to get in trouble because they won enough.
But but here's the worst part about WWE. We can talk all the shit we want. You want to know how bad WWE is? Who the fuck else are we putting in there?
Exactly.
Think about it. If right now you take what's going on, CM Punk and Daniel Bryan are out of the picture, they're doing their own thing. Who the hell fights Randy Orton at Survivor Series? Nobody.
Exactly.
They don't have anybody.
Because how many times? Okay, let's look at in the past year.
And that's not a compliment. That's like they made the right decision. Big Show's the only choice. It's the worst thing.
This is Big Show's the high right now. If they would have had Dolph Ziggler be the guy instead of Big Show,
anybody, just start building people
we would have
up.
got the same exact reactions. It wasn't because it was the Big Show.
Yeah, it's just
it was because it was somebody. It was anybody.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the reason why all these guys in the Yankees are getting these big endorsement deals are not because they're good. It's because they're on the Yankees.
Exactly.
That's why they're good. That's why they're golden gloves, and that's why they're great baseball players. People know about them.
Yeah.
And that's how it works. They'll put the spotlight on somebody, but that's probably a super long video, isn't it?
Probably.
And
actually, not really.
Yeah, it's not about as long as they normally are.
25, yeah.
Oh, that's actually not bad at all. Looking forward, how long until they can right the ship? Can they right the ship?
Oh, of course they can right the ship because at WrestleMania everything's going to be good again, but it's only because they're going to bring in Brock and Undertaker and Hogan and Rock, and they're going to try to get Austin and Michaels. So yeah, they'll right the ship. They won't right the ship. Like they'll right the ship. I'm not going to act like I'm not going to be fucking super pumped for WrestleMania 30 when all those guys come back.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'm going to be super pumped. So it's like
how long are you going to rely on
that? A month, like every year. And then a couple of the big guys will stay around for Extreme Rules, and then it'll go shit. SummerSlam will give us something good. Shit. Rumble. Yes, I skipped Survivor Series. Take note.
It's not even a big four anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And then Rumble, and we're back to WrestleMania, and then it's good again, and then it sucks. It's just a cycle. At what point, we're just going to have to get used to it, because it's how many years has it been now? And then once every, 10 years, you get Money in the Bank 2011. And other than that, it's just like, okay. Because all the pay-per-views that we were, at the time, were like reviewing pay-per-views like, this is actually not a bad pay-per-view. Well, when you're surrounded by shit, I can't remember any pay-per-views that have been good. I remember saying a lot of pay-per-views were good at the time. Can't remember anything about any of them. Obviously, they didn't make a very much impact because I don't remember anything about it.
What they do is WWE might actually be smarter business than we think because they control the size of the pond.
Yeah.
They want to shrink the pond as much as possible, so that way the fish that they already have, their big fish, Big Show, will always look big because the pond's always going to be small and no one ever gets enough to grow. And occasionally you get someone like Punk, and then what they do is they pull Punk out of that pond. And they say, you know what? We'll do what we can to keep you down. We'll keep the food away from you so you can't grow and be what you can be.
Mm-hmm.
Because when he grows, the pond grows, and all of a sudden the big fish of the past don't seem that big anymore.
Yeah.
Think about this real quick. They're talking about the early 90s as the golden age of wrestling. Late 80s, early 90s. But what do we talk about? Attitude Era.
Hmm?
Oh, we need to go back to the Attitude Era. Oh, man. The golden era was, by and large, as good at the top. Because they had solid stars, but that's all anyone remembers. They don't remember the mid-card guys. They don't even remember majority of the Golden Age guys. People know about Macho Man promos and his Mania match against Ricky Steamboat.
Mm-hmm.
And Josiah's brother. You remember the top stuff. When you consistently... And then they have the Attitude Era, which is the top stuff they remember from that too.
Mm-hmm.
But the Attitude Era was able to build off that, and then that's never going to be touched again because they won't let anything else come close to it. Because they don't have another star coming through. They won't let Roman Reigns be the next Rock. They won't let Dean Ambrose be the next Roddy Piper. They won't let Seth Rollins be the next Jeff Hardy 2004. He was the man.
Was the man.
They won't let they didn't let Jack Swagger be the next Kurt Angle. They won't let Big E Langston be the next anything. They're going to pull because they didn't let Punk be the next. I don't even know who Punk was compared to the first hand.
Austin.
Yeah, they didn't let Punk be next Austin. They didn't let anyone be anything because if they do that, then all of a sudden the guys in the Attitude Era that weren't as good but are still so well reviewed because has been people since Triple H, who aren't The Rock and aren't Stone Cold, aren't Undertaker, and aren't Shawn Michaels, are going to be looked at the same way as guys like Davey Boy Smith.
Mm.
And I don't even know if the Golden Era because I don't remember anyone like that. And that's how it's going to be. And they don't want that. They don't want people like the Big Show to be not a huge draw in the future.
Exactly.
Because there's no business in that. And you know what? He's a cool guy. But why? Why are we protecting people's egos when we can make the best product possible? Man, we got off subject but on subject. I think we're on to something here.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Why would you have a bigger pond? Why would you try to draw the 6.0 ratings, 5.0 ratings, even if ratings in the 4s? Why would you even try to draw that? Why would you have all these people who are as big as the LeBron James of the world? If CM Punk was walking down the street, people wouldn't know who he was. If Stone Cold Steve Austin walked down the street today, people are gonna freak out. Hogan today.
Oh my God. Can't compare Hogan to anybody.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone knows Hulk Hogan. If you've never watched wrestling a day in your life, you know Hulk Hogan.
Here's the deal. Shawn Michaels is not exactly a physically imposing guy. If Shawn Michaels was walking down the street, people would freak out. A lot of people.
I think I'd draw the line at Shawn Michaels.
That's about as low as we. That's the end part. That's the bottom of the spectrum.
That's the first one I disagree with.
Really?
Yeah. Wholeheartedly, actually. Love Shawn Michaels, but he never did anything outside of wrestling. Stone Cold did stuff movies, Rock movies, Hogan movies. They were like, Shawn Michaels never really left
Neither did Flair.
This world.
Neither did Flair, but I think Flair would still be pretty popular. He was mentioned in rap songs now.
Oh,
still.
Yeah, Ric Flair is higher than Shawn Michaels as well. Shawn Michaels kind of fell in the wrong time period because he was before the Attitude Era and after the Attitude Era. He was never really in the Attitude Era.
He lost his smile.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think if he's walking he's at to the point where I'll say this: if Hulk Hogan was appearing at the Salt Lake, the Sandy Convention Center, we'd hear about it.
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels has been there 9 times the past 3 years. I totally would have went. I never knew about it. That's where I'm saying.
That's a good point. But someone was probably at the Comic-Con in Salt Lake City, and we didn't know about that either. So
Maybe.
Yeah. He is the bottom part. Okay, I will agree with you now that I think about it. People freak out.
It's nothing wrong with his wrestling. It's just I don't think people recognize him.
Yeah, he's more recognizable than anyone they've made to this.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Except Cena. A lot of people know who John Cena is.
Exactly, yeah. But they made Cena in 2006.
But take one step down. Randy Orton's walking. I don't think people recognize Randy Orton.
Exactly.
That's how big the gap is.
Exactly.
It's one guy.
So it all derives back.
Uh-huh.
They saw how big Cena was, and they've realized that they did that more often. No one would care about who they were.
Oh, exactly.
No one would care about JBL if Batista and Cena and all these guys would have taken off.
Oh, exactly.
If they would have gave Brian Kendrick the shine and the ability. I'm dead serious. They talk about Daniel Bryan be the best. Like, he was in that Texas Wrestling Academy with Brian Kendrick, and Brian Kendrick is Daniel Bryan with talking ability.
Right.
But they pulled the plug off him.
Mm-hmm.
That one's probably a stretch as well. I'm going to take that one and leave it there. But even after they brought in the invasion angle, they just dropped the ball on so many guys.
The invasion.
Yeah. Who was the top WCW guy that came into the invasion angle?
Booker T.
Exactly.
I guess, Goldberg didn't come to then. He came later. So, yeah, Booker T probably.
Yeah, Booker T.
DDP.
And it took all these guys like Eddie Guerrero and Chris,
Yeah.
It took all of them so much time. Malenko never made the jump. All of these guys. Lance Storm was the first guy through, but even then he was there for a little bit. And a mid-card guy making a joke with Christian. When he could do a lot of great stuff and draw money. As was proven by the fact that there was a boom everywhere. But, oh man. I don't know. One day.
Yeah, someday. Maybe. Someday they'll fix it, or someday we won't have wrestling to watch. Which comes first?
You've heard the talk that they're going to get a massive TV deal, right?
Who?
WWE.
Like, what do you mean?
Like, they're coming up with in terms of Spike, and they're going to get a whole lot more. They're citing what NASCAR's getting, what all these other places are getting. They're going to get 50, 60, 70, 500, 600, 700 million for like a 10-year deal.
Wait, like they're going to like replace TNA on Spike?
No, sorry, USA.
Oh, okay.
But their deal with USA coming
is going to be as big as. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then NBC Universal got to bid with people. They have to bid with Disney? I don't think so, but maybe.
You never know.
What does ESPN2 show on Mondays?
I don't know. Come on.
Why don't they show wrestling?
Seriously.
They would probably drop in what they're putting on
ESPN Classic shows wrestling all the time.
Well, they show AWA and they do just fine.
Yeah.
And all these ESPN channel networks, all these ABCs, all of a sudden...
Fuck, put us on ESPN 8 the Ocho for all we care. It'll draw you some money.
People are going to tune into wrestling whether or not it is. But if it was on ESPN, it would get a lot more love. And they would probably pay a lot of money to do that. And NBC, Universal, people that own USA Network are going to try to keep it on USA.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Bidding war is going to happen. It's going to be a whole lot of money that they haven't really
earned.
They're earning by the fact that we all grew up wrestling fans and we all caught back in and we all believe it's going to be better.
Yeah.
So, holy crap, we got onto a different subject.
They're built on false hope.
They're built on false hope. Do you want to take us home?
Yeah. Long story short, Big Show won a title match with Randy Orton. He got the title match with Randy Orton. Kane comes out in a suit. The Shield, Randy Orton fight the Big Show. Kane stands there in a suit, throws steel chairs. They all hit him with steel chairs. They do a triple powerbomb through the table. Everyone freaks out. Show ends with Big Show on his ass, and everyone else jumping up and down for joy. Look forward to Survivor Series, where I join all of you for one night to join the Randy Orton bandwagon, because fuck Big Show. It'll be a great time, I promise. You can all just, even for one night, no one will make fun of you for liking Randy Orton, especially when he's up against the Big Show. So that is it from the Cerebral Woe Show. You'll probably see a Goldberg review from Jake some throughout the week. You'll see a bunch of other random shit. And for now, let us know on the bottom. Do you agree the Big Show's a stupid piece of shit? Let us know. See ya.